So ideally, this would just keep pushing and then give us a nice number one.
There we go. So tell me, where would you have your orders set up? What would you be waiting to do right now?
Right now, I'd be like maybe just above 33.
So, now it's still a high percentage trade. We just have to realize that being that close to that number is definitely going to lower the percentage a little bit.
Okay. So
Doesn't mean we
ideally, we
wouldn't
can
take
push
it,
a little more.
but yeah, but we know there's a market maker sitting there. So really what we'd love to see is it push even higher, get to like that 33.50. But as of right now, that's where your order would have to be.
Mhm.
You know, we've seen it right now. It looks like it's been pushing past 32 all the way up to 33. So it's definitely looking a little bit too pretty. We've seen that it has the ability to pull back. What would our price target be?
I would start. I mean, start at 32.50.
Mm-hmm. Why not 32.75?
Uh, I don't know.
Because it's
Not
trading
like
at 20 cents.
yeah, it's just not enough.
No, I'm saying you're right, but I'm asking you, why are you right?
Okay, just because of the increments.
Well, so the increments actually just changed to 50 now, but if they're at 20 cents, so technically you would only have to move 25 cents. Why was your 32.50 correct as your price target?
Instead of the 32.75.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we are going to get a trigger to the downside, I don't think that's enough room for them to build to just bring it back down a little bit.
What are these prints at 33 compared to print personality?
They're way above.
Way above. So the pullback would be more than what a normal increment would be, right?
Yeah.
There you go. So that's why 32.50 also being a psych number. So that would give it some type of magnetic, properties to bring it back towards there. So that's where perfect price target. What do we think here? Trigger?
I would say no.
No, why?
That's close. That's just not as like it's not as quick as I would need it to be, and it's not as large, and it also didn't break the bottom of the bar before.
Okay. There's something else that stands out.
The volume's not there.
Yeah, the volume was only it's only like 70,000 shares when that bar
Yeah.
happened. So, instead of a 10% trigger, that's, another, 4 or 5% trigger. We also, as we're getting to the highs, remember, what do we want to see as it's getting far away from where it needs to be?
We'll see
That
some
happen.
selling riders.
Yeah, so that's not technically riders. Riders are going to come in after the stock actually starts moving.
Oh, okay.
What it is it's that someone's actually setting up a position for the bar that's coming down that we're waiting
Okay.
for.
Gotcha.
Do you see? So one of them knows exactly what's going to happen. A rider is going to follow. We're riders.
Okay.
When we trade something, we're not trading it before it happens. We're trading it as it shows us it's time to happen. The people that are coming in before are going to be the people that know what's going to happen before it actually even happens.
All right. So we're not getting too much selling really, so I'd still just be waiting. Kind of in a volume dip as well.
Yep, not perfect. I can't take this trade with volume the way that it is. I see it looks pretty. And it looks like, I'd be up 40, to 35 cents right now, but it doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
because of the fact that it takes 1 second for this thing to just bar right back up. It's
Mm-hmm.
just not there. They didn't tell us it's time yet. Now, what about there?
That yeah, has the volume.
Mm-hmm. Add the volume, add the prints. Okay, if we look though, did we hit a 33? No, we didn't even hit a 33, which is very odd.
Yeah. So at this point, and we're not really seeing that selling coming in after, would you be taking off a lot at this point?
Yeah, I'm a very good see in this case because it didn't hit 33. I'm very confused because we should have seen something at that actual, and not that I'm confused, but we should have seen something at there. Right?
Okay,
So when we came back down there and at the bottom of the bar, we didn't really get any selling and we didn't really see anything coming into there. That's just very odd. And when I
okay,
don't really, when something's not typical of what we see, then we gotta, we have to adjust.
gotcha.
I don't like not knowing what's going to happen, it's just that's so odd. Like if you look, it jumped. You have one bid, below the bid that came in at that 33 level, which is
Mhm.
just maybe a quick shake. It's very possible, but for my trade itself, there's no reason to just let a stock come back up against me for the hell of it. And when when you think about it, this is all based off of buying. So when our building trade comes down, but they don't show us, anything going that shows that a continuation, there's not really much that we could do. So 33.50 is getting weaker, not as much as we saw coming in last time.
So will we still be looking for the building trade? Because we can't. Can we count that as our pullback? Or say
So
no.
no, unfortunately we can't.
So we'd still be looking for our pullback trade.
So based off our rules, we have to,
Okay,
because that the amount that they showed us at 33 that they needed to build on just wasn't, never came to fruition. So there's just, the same thing that we were talking about in QS before. Like, could we look for that trade when it came back up again? Can we look to go up? We couldn't because it needed
gotcha.
to make that giant pullback. We got to follow our rules. Until the rules are satisfied, we'll high percentage trades. And this stock isn't enough of an exception for us to take it as one.
Gotcha.
Hold on a second, guys. I don't know what just happened. Can everyone hear me? Hold on, let me
Yeah.
change my battery. This thing's beeping in my ear. All right. Can everyone hear me loud and clear?
Good.
Okay, perfect. Here we go. All right. Yep. So at this point, really, there's not much that we could do besides wait for that, for that trigger to come back down. And this is another thing just to point out, and this is the exact reason of why I said our percentages go a little bit lower when we take a trade. Look at where it kind of pulled up, right where that market maker showed us that they were at.
Yeah. Right
So
there.
when our trigger's close to a market maker, it's going to take off a part of the percentage of our trade just because we know that person's sitting right at that level. They showed us that they're there. So right now we're really just getting far away from where we need to be.
Gotcha.
So again, what we'd be looking for now in our time in sales is we want to see somebody that knows before what's going to happen. Right now we're seeing barely any selling coming into the stock. So if we get a bar down right now, it's not what we need yet. We want to see when it gets far away, we want to see that person that knows what's going to happen coming in first, not moving the stock down yet, but setting up for the stock to move down.
Okay.
And then from there, that's when we look for, after that, that's when we look for the trigger. That's when we get the full percentage of that 60% of prints to follow the ask prints that we have at 33.
We haven't seen any selling really yet.
Nope, nothing. Which if you're long in this trade, then that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
because it's just telling you that it's got more room to go. But it all comes down to just the patience and doing what the stock tells you. You know, if those prints would have been at 33, like within print personality, I would have been completely fine with the pullback 20 cents. But they weren't. They were way bigger than that.
So we didn't hit 34. So we did hit 34, but we got a nice burst before at like 33.90.
hmm So that doesn't give us a thing.
Yeah, it doesn't really tell us anything.
Nope. That basically that tells us if you're in the trade, you still got more room at this point.
Yeah.
Again, we know what needs to happen, but they're going to have to show us. They haven't shown us anything yet, besides the stock still having more room. Now that definitely helps us.
Mm-hmm.
Now we
And
have
then we
two
need a
levels.
pullback. A little selling afterwards.
So now, based off of what we saw, do we have a trigger?
Yes.
Okay. So what do I want to see right now?
More selling going
hmm Because we got a reaction of selling, and there's a little bit of selling has brought it a pretty decent way. Now, is that a ton of selling? Not really. So
in.
this is
Right.
another time that coming into the coming down to this 50 cents, I'm gonna have to take some off right now. I have to because I'm up in my trade right now, and they're not showing me more selling. I know it needs to pull down from 33 from what we have, but are they showing us that it's going to right now?
No, not right now.
Mm. And that's a big problem. Again, there's no reason to just let a stock come back. Now 33.76, that definitely helps. But the big thing here is that we didn't get the selling before the bar. And that we always want to look for that because that's not some, remember, the person that's bringing it down wants to use as little shares as possible from their actual position because they're showing us that their position is long. But what we want to see is we want to see someone completely different. Okay. We want to see a day trader that comes in and says, okay, I know that this is about to happen. So let me make a short position before they give us that bar down.
Gotcha.
So when you get this bar, okay, you get in on your trigger and then it bars down again, but you're not seeing any selling or any riders or anything that's coming into that, we're going to have to take off some, even though you'd only be up about 20 cents. 20 cents is better than the stock coming right back up to break past that 34 level.
Yeah.
It's almost being forced to have to scalp at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, 20 cent trades, they're going to add up. It's just it wasn't perfect. But when it is perfect, you need to be in the trade for it to actually happen. So there's all the validity in the world to take it. It's just I have to know the duration of time I'm going to be in it is going to be really short unless something drastically changes. And it didn't. And look what's happening. It's kind of just floating around in this area. Make sense?
Yeah. Now we're in a volume dip. Like, say you got out of your position and we're shaking out. Right now we're in a volume dip. Another trigger down. Would you be okay with taking that or no?
I would, but you
Or we
wouldn't be
need some
shaken out of
selling.
your trade yet.
Would you be
Do you
okay
see?
with adding then?
With adding, absolutely. But I've adding after selling. So we're starting to get a little bit of selling in there. I would need to see, some at least some decent riders coming in because I know there's a
Okay.
lot more room down. So if I'm going to add, I always need to have at least 50 cents left to be able to add towards. And in this case, I have 50 cents. Even if I'm only setting my price target at 33 because I know the market maker's sitting there. Technically, it needs to come lower than 33, but I'm going to be conservative.
Okay. That makes sense.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tim, great job.
All right. Thank you.
Very, very good job. Great job, both Tracy and Tim today. I mean, it was some real good stuff. I mean, that Qualcomm trade, when you get trades like this, I mean, these just these make